Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Carbon's Lab Bytes. I'm Jamie, and as always, I'm joined by a good friend of mine. We have a policy here only, we only have, nice, cool, intelligent, informed people on Lab Bytes. But this is my friend Sarah Anders. I'll let her tell you a little bit about herself, and then we'll just have a kind of a fun chat here. So Sarah, would you mind letting everybody know a little bit about you?
Absolutely. It'd be great. Thanks, Jamie, for having me. It's an honor and a privilege, and thanks for the friendship over the years.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Appreciate it.
For me, my background is all dental. I started my career in dental. I'll finish my career in dental when the time comes. And I feel really blessed. I've spent a lot of time on the lab side of the business, and that's really where I found my passion for dentistry, where it was really ignited in a special way. Because I saw the impact of dentistry on patient health and emotional health, as well as overall systemic well-being. But for me, I've had life on the dental side as well. So I've been able to see that full clinical workflow from practice to lab, back to practice, and what that means. And so I'm lucky to have that experience and bring that to the market and continue to grow in different ways.
That's awesome. Absolutely so valuable to understand our connection to the patients, right?
Absolutely.
How labs serve dentists and patients via dentists, and dentists serve patients with the help of labs. And that's what I'm hearing you say there. So that's...
Yeah, absolutely. It's a full workflow. And, the market's changing, right?
Yes.
We both see it in a big, big way.
Perfect segue. Let's talk about that. So something I like to ask, anybody and everybody that I respect your kind of your overall view of the industry over the years and how it's changed is we have some pretty interesting challenges now. I think different challenges. We've always had challenges, and some are the same. If we look at one of them is consolidation, well, we've seen that trend happening for 20 years. Labs decreasing at about a rate of 2.5% per year. We are starting to see that now increase a little more. Let's talk about, some of the things that could be contributing to that is, just lack of skilled technicians aging out of the workforce, very high labor costs, gasoline at $6 a gallon.
Depending on where you live, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's
crazy.
And how that just transfers through to every cost that we incur in our lives. But when you're talking to lab customers or even just friends in the industry, what stands out to you about some of those challenges? DSO growth, private equity, flooding into the market more. Let's just pick one of them, because this could be a 2-hour conversation about these. What's top of mind for you and the challenges for your lab customers and friends when we're looking at the changes in the industry?
Yeah, and change is constant, right?
Right.
Like you said. I'll pick on the DSO one as sort of or double click on that one, because I think it's an interesting topic.
And it's something that it's a favorite for me as well, because there's a lot of opportunities as well as challenges.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the big thing is that practices are changing, right? Clinicians coming into practices are changing. How they're trained in dental school is evolving over time. I actually think the DSO setting in many ways is a great setting for new clinicians to come in and learn, get more clinical experience, have a structure around them with coaching and development and system and practices. And what we're seeing, I'm a big believer in a lot of the data that the Health Policy Institute from the ADA publishes.
Yeah.
Marko Vujicic leads that group, and he publishes and speaks on a regular basis, but it's constant. They're sending out updates, and they do great webinars. So I would recommend that for our lab customers to sort of keep a pulse on what's happening across all of dentistry. It's not just DSO. He does a really great job of segmenting the data and what that looks like. But for DSOs, what are we seeing? Yes, new grads are moving into the DSO space or sort of that group practice setting. But what we're also finding is they're staying there, right? Mm-hmm. So they're finding something within that space that resonates with them, and they stay and grow within those practices, which I think is really unique. For me, though, because we're part of that broader Henry Schein organization, we're incredibly lucky to be able to sort of reach across the aisle and get information and data from our dental side of the house and the partners on that side. And Henry Schein One, I shared it at an ADL meeting, a sort of a QR code for the attendees there to look at their forecast of the 2026 trends within dental and what was happening in practices. One thing stood out to me is case acceptance is about a 47% treatment plan acceptance when dentists present treatment plans.
Wow, less than
50%.
Yeah,
less than 50%. So I look at that from the perspective of the practice and from the lab to say, hey, what if that percentage could go higher? You don't even need more patients in the chair, more case presentations. You just got to, increase the case acceptance rate, and that's going to help growth across the lab side of the business as well as the dentist side of the
What a
business,
fantastic.
which is, I think, a huge opportunity, right? Most importantly, that case acceptance will help drive health, right? So that connection between oral health and systemic health is absolutely clear, but the general public really doesn't understand it to a great extent. And I think as healthcare, within the healthcare space, it's really an amazing opportunity for us to be able to share that message and find ways to have our labs and our dentist partners to share that message as well with the public.
Excellent. And what a fantastic opportunity. We're always looking in labs for ways to be our dentist's best resource and to strengthen that relationship. And, not just having look, here's the latest, greatest material we're going to present to you and hopefully you'll buy it from us. But wow, if I know that less than 1 out of 2 patients accept overall a treatment plan, how could I help to facilitate more acceptance treatment plans? That's exciting to think about ways
right.
that, if I'm back in the lab, how could I work with my dentist more closely to be like, how can I help you treat more patients or have patients accept more of these restorations can I provide you with patient information or even brochures or samples?
Absolutely.
Right? Anything to help.
Yeah, for sure.
What's on that note of challenges, we'll get off challenges in a minute. We're not just going to talk about problems,
let's
right?
talk about opportunities too.
But what's been one of the largest professional challenges, like say in the last year, that you feel like you've faced? It doesn't have to be one that you've conquered or overcome, but maybe you're still working on, and maybe it's rewarding either way. Does one jump out to you?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So you and I have known each other for a long time. So, I'd like to say I was in the business for over 20 years. Now I have to say I'm in the business for over 30 years.
Yeah.
So
you did really quick. You just changed the age that you got into the business. Is also every year that goes by,
it just went down. Yeah.
Instead of being 24, I was now I'm 12 to the business, and then
Thanks for that.
Yeah. You can use that if you want. Yeah.
I'll take that and start using it. But for me, we're seeing incredible change across the industry, and it's impacting a lot of people, right? It impacted me, and I never, really thought of that in my career, right? Where I'd be impacted by an organizational change in a company that, I was, having a huge strategic role, but at the same time, it happens, right?
Yes.
And I looked at that as, okay, what's the opportunity, right? These things happen. Everybody has, unfortunately, a lot of people have had to navigate it. So I feel very blessed that I'm as networked in the industry, let's say. I've had the honor and opportunity of building a great career. And I spent a lot of time giving back across the industry, mentoring, doing some different groups and whatnot. And those sort of opportunities of networking gave me a really nice net to then say, okay, this is okay. It gives you a chance to reflect, see what the opportunities are out there. And I was very blessed in that regard to have some opportunities brought forward to me and then be able to explore some. So, and then it brought me to Zahn, which has been just an amazing opportunity to lead a incredible lab organization that's dedicated to the customers, tied to the broader Henry Schein organization, and build on the success that Rita's built over decades.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, obstacles opportunities from obstacles.
Sure.
It's just a constant theme and change in this industry. And do we accept change as humans? Do we fight it? It's just so much harder when we fight it. And if we can just flip our perspective around and say, like, even something as monumental as a riff or something like that can turn into an amazing opportunity. Or
absolutely.
Or for a lab, losing quote unquote a big account. Well, maybe that gives you an opportunity to learn from, well, was this necessarily all bad that we lost this account? How profitable were we on them? Right. If it was an amazing account that we lost, how do we learn and not do this? Right? It's like those.
Yeah. What's the why?
Yeah.
What happened? Is there things that we could control or not control about it?
Yeah.
Is there processes that need to change so that, can be better in the future and mitigate anything that of that nature moving forward? It's important.
Yeah. What did I learn in my last role that now I take into my new role, good or bad?
Yep.
And on that note, this is something I really am excited to ask you about, because when I think of you, I think of your leadership perspective, being in different roles on the dental side, and then also, the lab side and the relationships you have. And I don't know if you agree with me or see this yourself, but when I'm in labs, it doesn't matter if I'm consulting with our labs that are in Europe or in the US, cultivating and training leaders is a major challenge. And I've said this on a couple of these interviews, but I'm somebody who was plucked from the bench because of attributes that I had at the time. It didn't mean that I was ready to manage. I was not ready to manage. I'll just go on record and say,
it's hard managing.
Yeah,
it's hard.
So two-part question. One is quick. Do you agree with me that labs, by and large, could use some help and mentorship in cultivating their leaders? And then what is your advice to those labs to train their leaders to actually lead, so that, because quite often the owners end up spending most of their time managing their managers, and they really need to be focused on the overarching strategies and business growth, and we're going here, and here's the plan and communication, while the leaders are leading their departments,
Right. Yeah, and I would say it's not just labs, right? I think every organization, leadership development becomes a key focus and something that needs attention and constant nurturing, right? I'll use the word nurturing because it's an ongoing process that needs to happen. And it's hard, but for me, it's all, I'm a very open and transparent person, right? There's oftentimes as a leader, there may be things that you can't share, right? And that's the reality. But I think to the extent that you can share at every level of the organization what's happening, why it's happening, what the plan is moving forward, it gives the team a sense of security, especially in times like we're in today, where there's a lot of change that's happening. So the more as a leader you can embrace your team, in many ways your customers, right? That sort of network you have to let them know that change is okay. Yes, things might be different moving forward, but this is why, and this is how we're going to navigate it. And you're not alone, right? You're not alone. You can ask questions, and to the extent that we can have answers, we provide those answers, right? I think that's really incredibly important. That's one thing. I think the other thing is talent management. So talent management is, let's say, in many ways, larger organizations have a very formal talent management process, right? And you can look it up online. You can, there's all sorts of different methods that organizations use, but ultimately it's how do you connect with the employees? How do you really recognize their strengths, the opportunities for development, and then identify those potential leaders? And sometimes I think what can happen is just because somebody excels in that position that they have, they might be like an amazing individual contributor, and that's where they're happiest, and that's where they want to be, and that's where the most success is. And that's fabulous, and that's great. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the best leader, right?
Exactly.
And leading it's tough, right? How do you interact with people? How do you coach them? How do you make sure you're navigating challenging situations with the employees and then move forward with them, or they don't move forward and you have to have another discussion. So those are really hard for new managers and new leaders to have, those types of discussions.
I agree. And I think it's fundamentally, do you enjoy what you're doing in life? If it doesn't matter what you're doing, do you enjoy it? Do you feel fulfilled? And a lot of times people, they just don't feel fulfilled in leadership positions. They don't thrive leading others or being the person that everybody has to come to for answers.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And then others do, and others would aspire to do that, but they don't really have the personality or the communication skills to be able to do that. It's just, it's tough, but I don't think that.
And you can be a leader and be an individual contributor, right?
Yes.
So I think it's how you define leadership and what that is for you and what you want to do on your career path and your growth, right?
Yes.
So there's a responsibility for you as a leader to help the organization build that sort of talent pool and succession planning and all those things. But there's also a responsibility to yourself as a person, as an employee, to say, where do I really want to go and how do I position myself to be in those opportunities, right?
Yeah.
And they may work and they may not work, right? But you learn along the way, and you have to then have those continued conversations. So you have to be able to speak up but come prepared, right?
Yeah.
With concrete things and what can happen. And one of my life lessons from a good friend and a sort of somebody who worked for me and I worked with, right, was early in my career, because I was a sales rep. I was in the field and doing a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like doing a lot of things. I'm super creative. I was running CE and as a field rep, before CE was like such a big thing, and doing a lot of different things. And I was getting frustrated because there was a regional manager position open, and I thought I was ready for it. Mm-hmm. And I was ready for it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't ask for it. Oh. And it was one of my colleagues that just looked at me and said, "You're a salesperson. Do you ask for the order?" "Yes." Yeah. I do. I asked for the order. He goes, "Well, go ask for it.
Go ask for that job you want." Yeah.
And the next morning I went into head office, right? Yeah. And I talked to my director of sales at the time, and I said, "Look, I think I'm ready, and this is what I want, and I would like that position." And he's like, "We were just waiting for you to ask for it."
Wow. Yeah. Good life lesson. Yeah.
So, and the thing is that there's times where you can ask and you don't get it. Mm-hmm. And that's not a bad thing.
Yes.
Because you learn why, right? Right. So what do I need to do? What do I need to work on to pack my bag so I'm ready for that next opportunity?
Yeah.
And to move forward. So I think that for me is really important.
Excellent insights.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could talk all day. I know you've got other places to be and things to do. And but what's one thing that maybe even your friends in the industry, don't know about you? Like, do you drag race? Do you walk on coals, bungee jump, jump out of,
jump out of planes?
Yeah. Do you zip line? Are you like a hardcore mountain biker? Like, is there something that you do that may surprise, or have done that might surprise even some of you?
Wow.
Yeah. Put you on the spot here.
That's a really good question. Yeah. Geez. So for me, I'm big into nature. So we're lucky enough to have a cottage on a lake. So we love spending time outdoors, hiking. Mostly hiking, right?
Yes,
Biking, that kind of thing. One of the things that maybe you wouldn't know about me, but I did run the New York Marathon. So
amazing.
Yeah,
wow.
I ran the New York Marathon right after 9/11, which was kind of memorable and life-changing thing.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congrats.
Which was great. Yeah.
Huge achievement.
Thanks. Yeah. It was good. I don't run marathons anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm getting back into it, which is good because it's great therapy. So
yeah.
And a great way to sort of de-stress, put things in perspective, and do all those things. So it's great to be running again, and probably not a marathon again, but hopefully a 10K or a half coming up. So.
Well, Sarah Anders, amazing leader, great friend, ex-marathoner. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you to everybody. Hopefully there was some great pearls and insights here for you. We thank you as always and hope to see you again next time. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, everybody.